Hi and welcome to the bus. So today we're with Zoe. Zoe has been teaching with us for 7 years now, since 2010. She's our longest serving teacher and she's still here. Lucky us. She's also an actress. And we're here today to talk to Zoe a bit about why she became a teacher, why she enjoys teaching, how she marries it with her acting career. Thank you for having us today.
Yeah, thank you for being here.
Thank you. And so tell me, how did you decide to go into teaching in the first place? When we had our interview 7 years ago, what made you want to go for this job?
I think so truthfully what happened was my mother was the one who found your ad in the FUSAC, and she actually reminded me and gave me the confidence that, this is something that I could be great at. And I thought about it for a while and I was like, you know what? I think I could really be good at this.
Mm-hmm.
And I really enjoy, being around kids, and I really enjoy just actually, strangely enough, just observing them and seeing who they are and what they are and what do they need. So I think that it was like my mom's push that just gave me that confidence to be like, yeah, I think I can do this.
So I think, the fact that having doubts before you get into teaching could really resonate with quite a lot of people because it feels quite daunting. What were the specific doubts you had in your mind? What were the scenarios that were playing out in your head when you were thinking, me and teaching, I'm not sure it's the best thing?
I think it was mostly because I'm such a sweet person, and because my tendencies would probably be more to play than rather be, the strict teacher. I was kind of afraid that things might get out of hand in the classroom, mm-hmm. and that I wouldn't be able to have a firm hand and to be able to make sure that the kids learn, but at the same time in an environment that they could learn, mm-hmm. where kids wouldn't be running around or hitting each other or doing anything like that. So that was I think that was the part that was the scariest for me. And also because, there are these little things that you're teaching life to, and it seems like such a great big responsibility, mm-hmm. and that's also something that's really scary at first. It's still scary now. It's still something that you always have in the back of your head, because they're looking up to you and they're, with their big innocent eyes, and you just want to be able to give them the best.
Mm-hmm. So now, 7 years on, those initial doubts that you had, how do you feel about it now? So you obviously came across those kinds of scenarios where it was difficult managing a classroom, difficult asserting yourself within the classroom. How did you manage those scenarios?
I think slowly things... the thing is, I don't think that there's one class that is the same, and that there's not one class that you manage in the same way, because each kids are so different, and they, as a group as well, the energy is different. So you always have to adapt. There's not really one perfect recipe, mm-hmm. I'd say. But I think talking about it with you and exchanging with you and sort of brainstorming about it and trying things and failing, mm-hmm. and trying new things and failing again, and then trying something else and, oh, wait a minute, that actually works. Mm-hmm. So I think it's just, trusting that, okay, you may fail, but eventually you'll get it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And what would you say is when you look back over these past 7 years, there's one thing, one tactic that's always helped, one way of approaching a new group or a group that you've had for a long time, and it always works?
I think the thing that, for the most part, has always worked is always trying to, instead of reinforcing the negatives, reinforcing the positives. Mm. Instead of always saying, no, don't do this, don't do that, don't do that. Of course, you have to say those things once in a while, but not making that the important part of the class, and actually just praising and praising, because these kids, especially here, I mean, they really need praising. So showing them that the better behavior they have, the better results that they'll get, and the more praise that they will get.
Okay, so Zoe, you're an actress. You've got a lot of work in your acting career, but you continue to teach. Why do you do that?
That's a great question.
Don't say I don't know.
Yeah, like, who knows? Just because I actually enjoy it. I mean, I think I would have stopped if, because my life is, is insane. So I would probably have stopped if I didn't enjoy it. So I think the only reason I'm still doing it is because I truly love doing it.
What brings that enjoyment? What do you think? Are there some specific moments where you think, oh, this is why I love teaching? Or is it a general, what value do you draw from it?
I think there's several things. One of them, which this is something that is, that I find that I have this feeling all the time. It's not just like once in a while. When you're having this like terrible day or terrible morning or terrible week, and you're just like, oh God, no, like now I have to get outside in the cold and go teach. And then you get there, and these kids, and like all of my classes is like that, you have to be there in the moment with them, and because there's just no other way, because like they need your attention. And you're just like, okay, so let's do this. So yeah, you really need to be in the moment with these kids, and they, at the end of that class, you completely forgot why you were mad or why you were sad or all these things that were pushing you down, and suddenly you feel just great.
So Zoe, like most of our teachers, you have a job, you have your career, and English teaching complements that career. Is there any way in which English teaching helps your career in acting, or can help anybody else's other job, other daily responsibilities?
I don't know about other jobs, but I know for my job that it really does. It helps because, first of all, you become more assertive, you have more confidence. So I guess, yeah, that works for every job. But I also, for my job, what I find is that observing how children are reminds you, as an adult, that you also need to be more like them, in the sense that it reminds you that you need to be more free and more careless at times. Not all the time, but you need that in your life, and that you need to be more, in the moment, as we were saying before. And I think that that's really important for any adult to always remember that. And you know what, I mean, these two jobs are jobs of passion. Whether you want to be an actor, whether you want to be a teacher, they're jobs of passion, and you need to be doing them because you're passionate. So it totally works in both ways.
Can you think back to your experience as a teacher, and can you think of one particular student or scenario that really sticks in your mind, and you think that it was kind of a milestone for you, a difficult situation that you might have managed, or something that pops up in your head when you think back over the 7 years?
Oh, there are several of them. I can think of two. One of them was this little boy who, it was very strange because he was, how can I say, he had like a lot of energy, and it was really difficult for him to manage that energy in a group sense within this 1 hour session. And at the same time, it didn't seem at all like he didn't enjoy being there, and he didn't enjoy the class, he did enjoy it. It was just, I think it was just me having to figure out how to help this boy with his energy and how to channel it so that it would work for him, but also for the group. Because the thing is, obviously, what's great about these classes is that the groups are so small, you really get to work one-on-one with all these kids. But at the same time, you always have to keep in mind that it is a group, and you do want them to work as a group. And so it was really hard. I mean, we had a really tough year, but it didn't, like, nothing stopped us, and we powered through. And by the end of it, there was a clear, significant improvement, and I could see he was a much happier kid. There was this one girl who was extremely shy and had this little voice and was always in the corner and didn't really participate. And, I knew that was her personality, and I didn't want to push her. I never want to push anybody. If somebody is ready, then we go for it. But if they're not, I want them to be able to take their time and get comfortable. And so I let her get comfortable, but at the same time, I didn't ignore her either. I still made sure that she knew that I was attentive to her and that I wanted to help her slowly at her own pace become more confident. And we worked on that confidence, and she did the most amazing thing. We had a show, and she completely surprised me. I mean, I never would have thought, never in a million years did I think she would do that. She was supposed to just do this little entrance from the audience onto the stage and do a little speech. And she came in through that audience like no one's business. Like, she came in, she was like, she commanded that room.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody was looking at her, and she was soaking it in. She was like, yes.
It was her moment.
It was her moment, and she did it so well. And I was so surprised in a great way.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
That was amazing.
Okay, so Zoe, this is going to be a difficult one.
Oh, no.
But for somebody watching who's thinking of getting into teaching, what would you say are the 2 or 3 questions they should ask themselves before taking that responsibility on?
I think it's probably the first question would be, do you enjoy being with kids?
That's a good question.
That's a great question. Because if you don't, then you probably shouldn't be doing this. But it's not only that. It's, do they create that spark inside of you that you want to help them grow into the best human beings that they could possibly be?
Mm-hmm.
And is that something that you're excited about? Another question that you could ask yourself is, if you have enough confidence in yourself to know that a class may not always work out, and it may not always, be a class that, works, but that's not it. What matters is that you're trying, and that it's not about the result, and it's not about, of course you want it to get better, but I think what matters in the end for all of these kids and for you as a teacher is that you are trying. So I think the question is, are you willing to?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. Zoe, thank you so much. This has been really wonderful and insightful, I hope. So I hope it was useful to you. If you have any ideas about what people should ask themselves before getting into teaching, or any other insights for newcomers to the profession, then let us know. Thank you.